Okay, great. So, yeah, we talked about kind of the areas that you're looking to learn, and obviously I wanted to start off with there is no shame in not being aware of these items or you know getting overwhelmed. Like I'm here to teach you different tasks and different objects, items, and bits about them. So I really want you to be comfortable. And like, tell me when if you need a break or if I'm not explaining something. But I have a couple of items just off to the side that I will explain in a couple minutes. But I did want to start off with something that we both have on us right now, which is clothing. And I'm sure you're you're aware of clothing because you're wearing some. And I am wearing some, so I thought it would be a really good place to start because we could really talk about the ins and outs, the uses, and kind of the reasons for clothing existing and the different the practicality as well. So I wanted to start off by saying what I'm wearing right now has a few different names. So it is on the top half of my body, so it will be on the torso area covering my arms up to my neck, and this behind me is called a hood, which can go up over my head, which I'll explain the different uses for that in a couple minutes. But this right here is a hoodie, a pullover, a sweater, a jumper. It has many different names, which I know can be a little bit confusing. But if you pick one that you like, people aren't going to judge you for saying, the other one. So I personally will say either hoodie or jumper, but hoodie would be kind of my preferred one, and I'm not trying to push you into, picking the one that I use. But again, I'll give you some like notes on which you want to use, or in that kind of realm. But this is a hoodie, this is a sweater, this is a jumper, and it has many different practical and also personal uses. So clothing in general has, really, really important uses for humans. It can be there for temperature control, whether you're feeling too cold or you're feeling too hot. There are different fabrics, which I know we're getting into a new world here, fabrics and materials, which all of our clothes are made of fabrics and materials, and the different types have different uses, and some of those uses can be for temperature control, where the thicker fabrics and thicker materials are put in clothing that is to make someone feel warmer, or the thinner, more kind of airy fabrics are for cooling down. So if you're in, hot weather where the sun is shining, you're going to wear something a little bit more light that will let the air flow in and you can cool down. There's also safety uses for clothing, hard hats, or wearing reflective clothing when it's dark, which is very important. So both are important to clothing in that aspect. There's a lot of other safety clothing, hygienic clothing. A face mask is very important for hygiene. There is other ones like a suit that a doctor may wear, gloves for keeping sanitary. Firefighters' outfits have a lot of fire repellent on them, so it is very, useful in their line of work. There are also just self-expression reasons, modesty reasons, and of course, expression, modesty, all that kind of stuff as well comes into the practicality because you can express yourself, which, feeds into your mental health and your mental state. So I would encourage you to pick out clothing and wear clothing that makes you feel comfortable in, just being who you are. I think it's very important for going through life to pick your clothing appropriately, whether it's for practical use or again for, self-expression use. So that's really what I wanted to talk about in terms of clothing, and I think we can move on to some of the items I have prepared. I have a couple that may take a few minutes and may be a little bit overwhelming, but I think you will enjoy them nonetheless. First, I have this item, which is a very, very useful item in many, many different aspects of life. This one right here is a standard scissors, is what it is called. And there are many different types of scissors that are manufactured and put in different uses. But the one here today is just a general household scissors, an office scissors, it may be sometimes called. It's often used for stationery, where it's, cutting paper. And what a scissors does, I should probably explain first, is you put, your fingers into these little grips and your thumb into this one. And then you separate so that this end is open up, but be careful because this end is very sharp. So I would just watch out to make sure your hands aren't going anywhere near there, and then closing in this sharp end. When it closes in, it cuts, so it will cut paper, which I've brought as an example. Because as I said, this is kind of stationary scissors. So you take the scissors and close down. And as you can see, the paper is now split. And you can do it again. And again, you can see it is now split again. So while they are very, very, very useful in, practical ways, such as cutting office supplies, or as we talked about fabrics, people who make clothing will use different types of scissors to create different shapes, sizes, colors of fabric, and obviously it's used again. We could talk to doctors a little bit. In a medical field, they can be used for surgeries, or there's a lot of uses in the medical field for scissors, but the most common is probably the household / office scissors. They are very dangerous in some contexts, so I would be careful if you're walking with the scissors. When it is closed, make sure you hold it by the bottom so that if you do fall or trip, that the plastic end, or there's different materials it can be made out of. It can be plastic, metal, there could be glass, anything for this top part here, and this is usually metal. And at the bottom, that is sharpened so that it does do the activity, or the function of cutting, whatever it is intended for. But I think that one you seem to be grasping quite well. So I'll move on to this next one, which is following the office / stationery theme. It is called a pencil case. Now that name may be confusing after I open it up, because in here are actually markers, which are not pencils. Pencils are made from different, it's kind of a lead carbon mix, and that is pared down into a point so that it can be written on paper to either mark down, say, important notes, or a lot of it is used in schools or offices to remember or to work out different problems. So pencils are very useful in that aspect, but I have in here markers. This is a zipper, and this zipper opens up to reveal what is inside. So the whole pencil case is not just this. There's actually an internal for this that we can open up and have a look at in a couple minutes. But for now, I wanted to talk about this. So what this is a little handle, and we talked about handles when we talked about the scissors. So you can grip this handle here with all of your fingers, and it actually holds up the pencil case for you. So it is a very secure way of transporting this. Another very good way is to put it inside of a backpack, which you can then place upon your back. Another very practical use for clothing, fabrics, and materials. This is made from a kind of pleather material, which is a leather, kind of a fake leather. I won't really go into leather, but it is made from animal product, and then this is more artificial, which will be created in a lab or created by scientists to, have a more sustainable, or a more is, you know, if you're creating materials, you can almost have an endless supply as long as there is recycling within our society. So I'm gonna open up this zipper. I hope everything is okay so far. You seem to be following along really well. You're doing great. So I'm going to just open this up here. And you will now see that there is stuff inside. And what is inside, as I said, are markers. Markers are stationary, much like pencils, but they have a mostly different use. So in here, this is a brand of markers called Sharpie, and they are alcohol based, I believe, which is a very, you know, it's more of a premium marker because the alcohol based is a little bit more expensive to produce, but it is also higher quality when you are noting, coloring, drawing, which we can get into in a couple of minutes. But I also have other ones here which are just little felt tip markers, and these are water based, so they will paper reacts to water in a way where it gets a little bit thinner, or it kind of wears down with more water. So it is optimal, or it is a better use to actually use alcohol based markers, although there is a scent to them. If you're to start by a scent, I would avoid them. These are a little bit more friendly to everyone as they don't have such a strong scent. But again, both are useful in other cases. Yes, as I said, pencils are very much used for writing or problem solving, whereas markers can be used in a more creative way where it is drawing or coloring, especially when you have all of these beautiful colors in here. There is a lot of diverse color within this pencil case, which is great because you can, you know, you have the ability then to use, you know, every color you wish to make any kind of drawing, any kind of color combination, and make it really realistic, or, you know, express yourself in a really abstract way where it comes into art. So anyway, that is a pencil case, but again, I have said we have markers in there, which is really great. I'm gonna move on to the next item, which I have the last two items. Both have things in them, much like the pencil case. So we're learning, you know, different ways, but this right here is headphones. And you may be thinking, because I'm sure you've seen headphones before, that doesn't look like headphones. And you're right, it doesn't look like headphones, because they're actually within this little case. And again, we've seen the zip before. This zip is closed to keep the headphones safe inside this little case. And it is not called a pencil case, it is just called a case, or a carrying case, or a protective case, because it's protecting what is inside, and what's inside is the headphones. So this is a fabric material. It's a little bit more scratchy and textured than our pencil case was, and the zip is a lot smoother than the pencil case's zip was. And there is a logo on here. A logo is used by a brand. A brand is a business that creates products, so they will create clothing, pencil cases, markers, headphones, phones, everything. Everything that you are using is created by a brand or by a company. So this is a logo which is used to distinguish between brands. And they have put this logo on the case to show you that this is their headphones. And again, as I said, it's a scratchy material, which is really nice. And it feels, you know, it feels so much different, so much more textured than the pencil case or the clothing that I'm wearing, because they're all from different materials. But let me go ahead and use this zip technology. And the technology is to play music, podcasts, movies, or ASMR into your ears directly without having it be out loud or, off speakers. So they're like little portable speakers. And you just pop them there, and then you can put them on your head. But as you can see, they're not the right size. Luckily, they have thought of that because they have implemented a design that allows you to extend the headphones on either side, which is really, really handy for people who have different head shapes. So they are catering to everyone in this case. And then you can see it is extended with these handles at the side, and you can then put it on. But as you can see, it's not covering my ears because I've put it on the wrong ears. There is a specified ear you should put each one on, and as you can see, all headphones are different, and they will say which ear to put it in a different way. They will usually be marked left, which an L for left and an or for right. So your right side and your left side. For you that may be flipped. But you can then put the left side and the right side over your ears, and it fits really nicely and comfortably. And these in particular are Bluetooth headphones. Bluetooth is a connectivity thing, so it's kind of it's more technology that will connect through a service called Bluetooth, or I'm not sure what the exact word you would use, but Bluetooth in general it's a wireless connection to a device that will play the music. So you'll use the device to control what's playing in these headphones. So then you can take them off when you're done, and you can put them back into their carrying case, which is really, really handy for, again, transport and safety. It is important to look after your items and your valuables. The last item I'm going to show you is this. You may be wondering what it is. It is a very small bag, and as you can see, there is a kind of wrinkled area up the top, and that area is actually where the tension is pulled by these two strings. And these two strings are pulled together to close the bag, which you can then easily pull to open it up and see what's inside. But if you want to close it again, you take the tips of these strings and you just simply pull them apart so that it closes nice and firmly, keeping the items inside safe and secure. What is inside is Dominoes. Dominoes is a old game that was played with little wooden cuboids that I will show you in a second. I'm not going to explain the game of Dominoes, but I thought it was important just to let you see them, and we can have a quick look. So these are the Dominoes. They're very small. This is a particularly small version. Again, they come in many different sizes and colors. Often the shape is quite the same. There might be a little bit more roundness on the corners or something, but they are used to prop up or to lay down flat. So it is important that they, maintain the shape of a cuboid. So that is Dominoes, and they are a game to pass time or to relieve boredom. And this bag right here contains them and keeps them safe, much like the last two items, the pencil case and the headphone case. So those are our items. I really hope you learned something today and you can take it forward. And yeah, I just want to say before we go, you did so well. You should be so proud of yourself. You were following along really, really well. And look at all this knowledge you've gained today. So thank you for spending this time with me. I really enjoyed spending this time with you.